So this morning already, President Trump now en route to Florida as we speak, denying they reached a deal, an agreement with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. They are saying the president agreed to keep protections in place for the so-called Dreamers and that a wall will come later. A bit earlier, I talked with the House Majority Leader, the Republican from California, Kevin McCarthy, about that and a lot more. Kevin McCarthy, good morning. Welcome back to America's Newsroom.
Thanks for having me.
Are you okay with the president doing deals with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer?
Look, the president needs to work with everybody, but I'm not going to decide what the deal was based upon what one person said to the press. I'll wait till I talk to the president. But one thing you've got to look at, it's the first time I've heard Nancy agree to border security. We understand this border is not secure. This is something the president's been arguing for. And for getting Nancy Pelosi to step out and say, yes, she's willing to actually vote to secure the border,
well,
that's a new step.
Just back to the question, does it make you nervous?
No, I talk to the president all the time. It does not make me nervous, especially if the Senate's going to keep this 60 votes, which I disagree with. You're going to have to talk to Schumer. And that's unfortunate. We need to get things through. We have more than 270 bills that have passed the House that are sitting over in the Senate. We need to get something done here.
Well, officially, here's what the president tweeted a bit earlier today on screen. No deal was made last night on DACA. Massive border security would have to be agreed to in exchange for consent, would be subject to vote. Would the president get an immigration deal without a wall?
We'll have to sit and see where we're through. I know members here want to see their border secured, and that means having a wall. That also means technology can help cause solve some of those problems in certain areas, and this is something that we've worked on for quite some time, and it was a critical point of what he campaigned on. So I know the president wants to have that. I'll sit and talk with the president today to get the real insides of what happened in that meeting. Remember, we should not base our opinion because Nancy Pelosi walked out and said something happened.
Understood.
Let's let everybody in the room understand.
When do you speak with the president?
Well, I'll give him a call today and talk to him about what happened last night.
Okay. He's in Florida this morning, so I assume that's this afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. On taxes now, Karl Rove writes in the Wall Street Journal, and he points a finger at the Freedom Caucus in the House. The title is 30 Republicans Holding Up Tax Reform. And the key line is the last line of the piece. These lawmakers are demonstrating once again that the freedom they most prize is freedom from the responsibility of governing. Do you agree with him?
Well, what I see here is, and all members can have whatever opinions they want when they sit in Congress. That's their choice to vote the place that what they ran on. But for us to get tax reform, we first have to pass the budget. Now, the budget came out of committee unanimously with all Republicans voting for it, Democrats voting no. But we can't start on tax reform until the budget is passed. And unfortunately, there's a number of members who are not voting for the budget, saying they want to first see what is in tax.
So then they are getting in the way.
Well, I would just like to see. I don't want to delay any further. I think the sooner individuals can keep more of what they earn, the stronger this nation is going to become. So the sooner we pass the budget, the sooner we'll be able to get to tax and get started. I don't want to see this back up against Christmas time, because then the Democrats will have more power. Remember, we're going to have to deal with a continuing resolution with what we're doing with appropriations at the end of the year of government funding. And if you move taxes to the end of that time, then Democrats are going to leverage from there. I would like to see this done now. So if we could move the budget right now, I wanted to do it before we left in August, but unfortunately we didn't have the votes to do it.
The calendar's working against you. Here is the president on tax reform.
I think the wealthy will be pretty much where they are. Pretty much where they are. If we can do that, we'd like it. If they have to go higher, they'll go higher, frankly.
So, who's defined as wealthy? Who's considered rich in America?
You would have to ask the president what he considers wealthy in that determination. The one thing I found, we have a corporate rate the highest in the world. So we want to lower that. We have small businesses that create more jobs than any other place around the world. So you've got to make sure you lower those rates as well. We have a crazy system that if companies are successful and they sell around the world, they can't even bring that money back home. We want to repatriate, bring that money back home to invest in American jobs, greater manufacturing.
How would you
and why do you have
wealthy?
7 rates?
What sort of number would you give it? as rich?
You know what? I want everybody in America to be wealthy. So what I found best is don't have government take more of what you earn. You should be able to keep what you earn, invest it, and actually become wealthy.
Would you give everyone a cut then if you could?
If I could give everybody a cut, I would, because the one thing I've found is people invest their money more wisely than government. It's more efficient in the process. And you know what happens when you invest? I was not a wealthy individual. I saved, I worked hard, and I created my first business when I was 20 years old. And the one thing I learned, I was the first to work, last to leave, and last to be paid. But I created more jobs for more people. I want to see more of that in America. More people to be able to own homes and more people to be able to pay for their kids' college. That means making everybody else wealthy and not taking that into government. Let them keep it and invest it.
Thank you, sir, for your time. Majority Leader in the House, Kevin McCarthy, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.